I remember I was golfing with some buddies one time, and they were calling me Golfing Jesus. It's like, I like that.
Dude, that's a handle on Instagram right there.
You're listening to the Sales Tax People podcast. What are you going to do all summer with all your free time?
And I don't know much free time there is, Danny.
That's true.
Between the baby coming, between the shows we're doing for business, between the things we're doing internally business-wise.
And you get up with Bubba every 6 a.m.
Yeah, so like Bubba and I get up 2-3 days a week, and we Coach Gargano gave me a key to the facility, so I go over there with him at like 6 a.m.
That's cool.
Me and Bubba get like 150 swings in. Yeah, he'll throw a bullpen with me, and then he goes to school.
Well, not school, but
he did it for like the last 2 weeks, I think, of school is when we started that schedule. So he would still go to school right after that. Yeah, and I thought it was cool because he's a lot like me. Where like we have a lot of energy. We have a hard time sitting down for a long period of time. I'm much better at it at 43. So getting some of that out of him before school even starts, I think helps him.
Yeah.
So
is Crimson doing any summer ball?
No, I mean, from the conversations I've had with Abbott, it's between the guys that are playing CBA and the guys that have other summer ball teams or tournaments that they're committed to. We just don't have enough guys for a team.
Yeah.
So if we do a couple tournaments, it'll probably be in August. I'm guessing.
Which is, that's when Benson could probably play. He's only doing one in June and then one in July.
Yeah.
Just so he can have more of a true off season and train.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just better to be able to actually go harder.
I was actually talking to Coach Gargano about that this morning, and we were talking about how, like, especially in the summer, like, he would almost rather the guys not go play in those tournaments on those teams and stay in and train.
Especially the underclassmen.
Yeah.
Like, no one's going to see you, and like it's like you're going to get offers. And
you know what? If you're that kid, you're that kid. You already know that.
Yeah.
Right. And the kids that aren't that kid, I think, are really hoping that they get seen somewhere. Hoping, when really what they need to do is stay home and just get better
and eat.
Right.
Eat food.
Get better reps. The other thing I was talking about with G, you hear a lot about like. You don't want to overtrain these days. Some people are like, quality over quantity and this, that, and the other. However, like we were talking about it, and it's like, man, I mean, the old Ted Williams quote, hit till your hands bleed, then hit some more.
Yeah.
And I just remember like hitting and hitting and hitting and hitting. I remember Corey Snyder gave me the swing heavy bat 500 times a day. He put that in my head. And then it's like that's a lot of swings.
Yeah.
And so it's like at the end of and we were comparing kind of what we did as coming up, and he's like, man, these kids are undertrained.
Yeah.
If you think about it.
You also didn't have Nintendo or Xbox, or?
Yeah, that's true. We didn't have as many distractions.
Fortnite, yeah.
Right? And we also probably had the dads that were just like, suck her up, get tougher.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, we're not here to talk
No, we are though. This is the point. That's why I like having you guys here, because it's like better than some stuffy conversation, right? You can just have some real life conversations. Yeah.
Big, you don't have anything to chime in about it, dude?
I love baseball.
Yeah, well, it's been a beautiful.
Do you like it? Like being at the park and.
Yeah, now that I feel like I was really involved with the travel ball team, and that was really fun. I haven't been as involved with Crimson, and I told them like, hey, like. I think if you do, I think this next year I need to be maybe more involved rather than in the shadow box of, okay, see you later.
Well, and I think it was kind of one of those things where we were both kind of like walking into a situation where it's like people have been there for years.
Yeah.
And so it's like you're the new guy trying to figure out, where you fit into the group, right?
Yeah.
And and it's like until I figured that out, she doesn't need to figure. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so. But at the same time, it is such I think Sarah understands that like coaching is such a commitment, and it does take a time that like, it can't just be a commitment on my part. It's got to be a commitment on both our parts, right?
Yeah.
Because it affects our home. It affects our kids day to day, it affects her day to day, and we have to plan for it. And so, the more involved she is, with it, the better it is for our family as a whole.
Yeah.
Yeah, but making it like once I finally understood the game, it was a lot funner. I was like, what's it? And even I still have questions. Like, why did that happen?
It's really been fun kind of watching her fall in love with baseball. And, it's been a gradual process over the years, because when we were first started dating, I was done with baseball. I didn't talk about it. It was like I didn't do it anymore. It was unhealthy for me.
Yeah, your experience you told me about before, I'm sure made it
100%
even a toxic thing.
It was absolutely.
No, like he didn't have ESPN on, nothing. Like I didn't even know I knew he played baseball, but I didn't know.
She didn't know I was good.
Yeah.
And anyways, so it's been I've had to re-fall in love with baseball, to be honest with you, and so I think we've kind of done it together, The only reason I'm coaching is because of her, I never thought I would ever coach, never even crossed my mind.
He also never thought he'd be a Dodger fan either.
You're a Dodger fan, yeah?
Oh, Bubba.
Bubba's a Dodger fan, so
He loves
she's
Shohei.
gradually pushing the family that way.
Okay.
Well, it's just close. It's not.
So we have friends that are Dodger fans, so it's convenient.
What was your team before?
I've always been a Baltimore Oriole fan.
Okay.
I was kind of raised on the whole Ripken philosophy of baseball. Yeah, I like him and his family, and they've always kind of been like the hopeful, as far like playing in that American League. It's like you're always right behind Boston, you're always right behind the Yankees. It's like so.
That was big.
I kind of like rooting for underdogs, So and then back when Cal played for all those years, it was always fun watching him.
Yep. So. It's hard not to root for him, even if you didn't like the Orioles. Like
100%.
It's about
good dude.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
You brought up dating. I'm curious how you guys met and hear like your dating story.
Yeah.
What's your side?
I used to.
There you go.
I used to joke. I used to joke.
Maybe we need to have you leave.
Okay. So I
And
don't hear it.
Side
Well, I used to joke and tell people that I saw her at a gas station and I like honked. It was like, "What's up?"
No, whistled at her.
No, it's actually kind of interesting. This is my side of it.
Great. Can't wait.
I was living in Provo at the time. I had my ex-wife lived in Bayo, and so I was coming down to St. George periodically to come get my kids and this, that, and the other. Anyways, I had a roommate who was playing in a softball tournament that weekend, and he was like, "Hey, can I jump in with you? I'll drive if you let me ride with you," type of deal. So I let him drive. Well, he runs over something halfway there, and we get a flat tire. We ended up on the side of the road for a while. We got to tow to the next small town. Then we had to wait for them to get the tire, and then it was like 4 or 5, 6 hours later before we got to St. George. Anyways, we finally get to St. George, and at this point, I'm tired. I'm a little pissed off. I'm just like, I'm ready for the day to be over. And so my buddy, his name is Boone Zorad, he says to me, he goes, "Hey, I have somewhere we can stay. We don't have to find a hotel or call a friend or whatever." He's like, "I got somewhere." And I was like, "All right." And he's like, "It's this pretty hot chick." And I was like, "Okay." I'm like, "Whatever, she got a couch." And anyway, so we ended up meeting her at Buffalo Wild Wings. Right. And I remember I introduced myself real quickly, like, "Hey,
Barely.
I thought my friend was trying to date her, and so it was not even in my head at the time. And, unbeknownst to me, I found out later she was just being a friend. She was like, "Yeah, okay." Anyways, so we ended up that night, I think I've said 3 words to you.
Literally. Stone cold sober the entire night. I was like, okay, I don't know who this dude is, but whatever.
Right. And,
you had a rough day.
Yeah. And then, so I think fast forward to, the next night we went to dinner.
Sakura, yeah.
Yeah, so the next night we went to Sakura with me. It was me, her, and Boone, my buddy.
That's good. You upgraded the restaurant.
Yeah.
Yes. Beat us.
Hopefully the conversation upgraded.
I actually became a different person as far as
a little more sociable.
I had some sleep.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I remember sitting there, and I remember kind of like, judging Sarah's hotness in my own head.
Wow, okay.
And thinking, and then I remember I caught eyes with her, and then I had to go to the bathroom. And then I remember I was washing my hands in the mirror, and I was like, does this girl like me?
Do I like this girl?
Like I had that thought, right? It was kind of strange. And then I went back out to the table and continued the conversation, whatever. And as the night went on, we were gambling in Mesquite, I think, later that night. And as the night wore on, me and Sarah spent most of the time together, being like went off in different places. And then Sarah and I ended up kissing in front of a slot machine. And so I remember walking up to Boone when he was at some blackjack table and being like, hey, dude, like,
sorry.
Yeah. And like, we literally, I don't think we've been separate since.
Yeah.
Like, we weren't like boyfriend, girlfriend like that or whatever, but
he had 3 kids at the time.
I was 34.
And I was 23.
Yeah. Let's hear your side of it.
And you didn't have any kids.
I didn't have any kids, so that was one of the biggest like deal breakers for me. And I remember asking him in my kitchen, like that one of the mornings, and going back, like I had this townhouse, and I was traveling for microblading, so I was a microblading instructor. And I was making great money. Like I was single, I could fly where like I could book a trip.
No need for me.
No need. I was so good.
Yeah.
Like I could book a class in Hawaii, and I could fill the class and be like, oh, now I want to go to Chicago. Like I could go wherever.
No.
So I was on a flight home from New York City when Boone texted me, and I was like, ugh, like I don't really want.
I've heard this part.
Yeah, like I don't, like I've been on this long trip. Like I just want I had just barely moved into the townhouse, so I literally had a couch and like my bed. So I'm like, all I have to offer you is a couch. And he's like, that's great. He's like, we'll be gone like most of the night playing softball. And I was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah. But yeah, I remember specifically one morning where I was like, when I realized like, okay, we kind of like each other, like you already have 3 kids. Like, are you sure you want?
I was going to say, when did you process that?
When I asked you, and you're like, if I find the right girl, I'd be open to having another. So.
But that was like, when was that conversation? Like you'd already been dating a while?
No. Well, like, and I was just like, we're kind of just
We
tossing.
were filling each other out, right?
Yeah, and like I was just asking him questions. I'm like, are you done? Like you have 3 kids already? And he's like, yeah, I'm done. He's like, well, so.
But this was after Mesquite.
Yes.
Really. So
Yes, after Mesquite.
You already knew there was already that attraction. And
Yeah,
like,
there
okay,
was.
we better have some real conversation.
Here's the real part about it. Like, honestly, in the beginning, I looked at it very superficial in the sense where, like, I'm 34, she's 23.
Yeah, he never thought he was getting married.
I have 3 kids. I had already had this conversation with myself. Like, I was good. Like I had a house in Provo, like I had joint custody of my kids. Like I just was good, and
I was good too.
Sarah was good too. It's like, and I can't remember where I was going with that. Where was I going with that?
Well, just like you didn't think you had a need for nothing.
Yeah, I had a need for nothing. But the universe, it's interesting how the universe, call it God, call it whatever you want. It doesn't care about your plans. It does not care about your plans. And
it only cares to laugh at you when you think you know.
100%, and like I can look back at my life and like be grateful for things that at the time I'm, the victim of whatever's happening or whoever's happening to me, or this, that, and the other. And it's like, but I look back at all those moments now, and it's like they served me in some way, to make me the person I am today. And
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
yeah, I could write that down. I probably won't live forever, dude.
We'll pull it right out of the transcript.
Oh, yeah.
We're also going to add the blooper of my mic breaking.
I was going to say, like, wow.
And I can't figure out how to. It's like cross-threaded. There we go. I'll just hold it.
Yeah.
No, that's great. At what point did you move down here?
It was several months.
Yeah. Like it was giving me a lot more reason to come down here. And like the fact that I had somewhere to stay, with my kids, meant I didn't have to go home if I didn't want to necessarily.
Because he was going back and forth. Like, he would come down here and get his kids, and then he would turn immediately back and take them up for, like,
she
2
started
days.
offering me, like, to stay at her place while she was traveling. Because she was still traveling at the time.
Yeah.
And so I would take her up on it.
That's cool. Just more time with the kids.
Yeah.
Not, I mean, you'd have the time in the car, but
Yeah, and then, it gradually got to the point to where, I would try to plan it so that when she was back here, I was down here picking up the kids, and so she got to be here with me and the kids. And it just kind of blossomed from that.
Yeah. So I would say probably like 6 to 8 months. It took us a while. It took me a while to convince him to lose the promo
I
house.
forgot to answer your question, my long-winded thing. Yeah. Took me a minute. It was 6 to 8 months, I think.
Yeah. It was hard for you to let go of that promo house.
Well, it was one of those things where it was like I'd kind of given up on like finding somebody, and so like even though things were going so good with her and stuff like that, like I was in my mind, I was just waiting for something to go wrong, or her to like be like realize, wait a second, what am I doing? He's 34 and has 3 kids. I've never been married. I've never had kids. What am I doing? And it's like I guess maybe I was looking at it more in a realistic way rather than like a romantic, like I love you kind of way. For me, like my love for her has grown over our relationship. I probably love her more today than I did yesterday. Yeah.
You should.
yeah. You should.
Yeah.
We know you'll love the baby when the baby comes. What is the baby coming?
July.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Hey, Bear, you already have the name?
So we're naming. I'll let you tell the name.
I can't talk right now. I'll shove it in my throat.
I'll
No.
say it.
Yeah, go ahead.
So we're naming him Hanks Bjorn Anderson, and we're naming him Hanks after Sarah's grandma's maiden name is Hanks with an S, and then she's got Icelandic roots. Her grandfather's surname was Bjornsson, and so his middle name will be Bjorn, so it'll be Hanks Bjorn Anderson.
But Bjorn means bear
And I've been calling him Bear
from the very
Never
beginning.
knew that. That's cool.
Yeah.
So I like when I talked to the belly, I went in there. I talked to Bear.
Well, that was it a BYU? Is he a quarterback?
Yeah.
He's always loved the name Bear, and I'm like, okay. So when I finally had a reason, when it was a really cool correlation when I searched what Bjorn meant, because when my grandparents came from Iceland,
No, you're good.
they had to Americanize their last name, so it went from Bjornsson to Bjornsson, Bearnson, and so
they spelled it.
So it's like
Bear, yeah. So it was just really kind of a cool correlation.
Yeah. So I think I asked my mom why she named me Austin, and she tells me I don't know. She just liked the name.
Yeah. I think that's how Danny is.
So I always wanted to, and I feel like Sarah has like joined me in that. But like there's a reason like my kids have the name they have, right?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Super cool to have that meaning.
Yeah,
there.
or there's a connection to all the names, like, right, that can never be severed. Like, all my girls have boy names.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, and they all will have that in common. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's cool.
No, they're unisex names.
Right. And then, hey,
Oh,
I'm a liberal, but.
No, that's cool. Well, and you got Bear and Bubba.
yeah.
Those two will be
I know.
inseparable.
Bubba, everyone asks me, do you have 2 kids? And I'm like, no, Brooks and Bubba's the same person.
I know, some people don't even know his name is Brinks.
Yeah.
My kids probably don't know that.
Yeah.
Because they just know him as Bubba.
Yeah.
Our ward bishop was at our house on Sunday, and I was just talking to him, and he was like, so what is Bubba's first name?
Yeah. Which I love that. Like, I hope, because at first when he started kindergarten this last year, he was like, Mom, Bubba's kind of a weird name. Like, I'm like, no, it's not, dude. It's cool. And because all of his teachers were like, what do you want to be called? And he's like, Brooks. And I was like, oh, okay. He wants to be called Brooks.
No ways over.
Yeah.
But it's kind of, I think he's like, okay, I really like Bubba now. So.
Well, I think he's gotten used to the nickname, or at least I think he's starting to understand what it means. Like, it's cool to have a nickname, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's like guys on my team have nicknames, and Bubba has a nickname. His nickname's Bubba. And so I think he realizes that now. But at first, he I don't think he understood what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But his perception to everything and his perception of it is different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Only the coolest people have nicknames.
Right. If you have one sent to those,
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. I'm sure he'll be in that, state where he's putting Bubba on his papers, like school papers
Yeah.
and stuff. And all the teachers will know him as that.
I'm sure.
Yep.
We'll have to decide. Or they can mix it up and try to confuse them.
Yeah.
Or they'll just know. So.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
Exciting times of having babies.
Yeah. Well, we're
I don't know what
Or
I'm going
wild.
to do. I haven't had one in 6 years. Probably what I did the last time.
Yeah.
sure we'll survive.
You know how it is. It's like,
Just keep them alive.
it's like expect the unexpected to some degree, but yeah, all the basic stuff.
As long as they're going to the bathroom okay, sleeping okay.
I mean, Danny has 6.
Yeah.
You know?
And we had like a five and
Did you ever
5.5 year gap
Did you? Did
in
you?
between the last
So
two.
if you can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
Wait, dude, let me get through it and then we'll write a book.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
About
I'll start
how to
now.
have 6 kids and how to survive it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, how to do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think that'd be.
We got to do better.
It'd be a good book for the dudes.
Right? Right? Especially for the guys that are, trying to be a dad again.
Yeah.
And then you can write a book on like why our book is terrible and like why you should not do what we did.
Keeps going.
It's our son.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I was talking to my buddy Trent the other day, and he was saying, what were you just talking about? I'm sorry.
6 kids.
Kids
Yeah,
and books.
he was talking about actually having another kid in the
Yeah.
college. And I'm like, I think more people our age are thinking about it now
Yeah.
than they used to.
What else are you gonna do?
Well,
What brings more purpose to your life?
Like from what I remember, it was like the idea was to get a good, go to a good college, get a good job, with a good company, work for 30 years, retire, and that was like the goal, right? But like nowadays, it's like people aren't trying to do that so they can go travel the world, with their spouse. I think people want that time with their kids, and it's like the more kids have, the more time they have with kids.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And, and I think that gap, like you realized it, like you guys decided to have more, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, hey, it's okay to have more, and I think more people are thinking about it.
Yeah.
It's a cool experience for the older siblings. You see this with your other kids too, just like having that
Yeah.
younger sibling. And I stress sometimes about our older kids feeling more like a babysitter than a sibling.
Yeah.
But dude, it's invaluable just having
For
that.
sure.
Because it's a very different feeling in our house, like with our youngest, because our first 5 were like basically every 2 years.
Yeah.
And then you have that gap, and now you have the ones that are old enough to like just be there and help, and
Right.
that they just have a very different experience, of course, with the baby. And
Yeah.
for that reason, it's just like there's so much magic in it.
Yeah.
Like they're just the love and like the kind of just spirit that like fills the home.
For
It's
sure.
very different.
We feel it too. I mean, I have 3 older kids with my ex, I have a 21-year-old boy, a 19-year-old girl, and a 16-year-old girl. And they are incredible with our little ones.
Yeah. And our little ones love them so much.
Love them.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Do they live here in town?
They
One of them.
Camden does. Our oldest,
21.
Yeah, he does like custom cabinetry and stuff like that. Can't remember who he works for.
Right. Tyler, someone.
Yeah. Anyways, and then the other 2 live up in Ogden. Our 19-year-old just graduated. Got her master esthetician certificate, and our other one is 16, going into her senior year.
Okay.
So,
Or no, 17. Sorry.
yeah,
going into her
that's
senior
close. Yeah. But yeah, just like when they come down or like any type of event, like,
Oh, yeah, I told them they were coming down for Father's Day, and Tyler about lost her mind.
yeah. She just loves them.
That's amazing.
Oh.
Do they, speaking of esthetician and speaking of your microneedling
Yeah.
and speaking of your business and speaking of your kids,
Right.
I'm curious, like, do the kids have any desire to work with you guys in the business at all?
You want me to answer this?
Because I think about that a lot of like having kids in your business.
So that was a really cool kind of experience. AJ, the second oldest, she's 19. She moved down here from Ogden and went to the Skin Institute, which is where I went and where I taught. And she always said that she was following in my footsteps. I don't know if she wants to now, but you know, like she worked for us when she was down here, and she's come to a couple of shows with us. Right now she really loves lash extensions, but like, you know, I think I just tell her, like, with aesthetics, like the potential within the industry is so vast. You can pick whatever you want.
Yeah, we don't try to push them one way or the other.
Yeah, the little kids, like there was a couple Saturdays ago where we had to build our booth for a trade show, and like I texted Austin. I was like, I wish Bubba was bigger because he could help me put up this wall right here. But it's like they don't quite understand it yet. Tyler is a little bit, because she's like getting more into like makeup and, you know, and things, and she's like, Mom, you sell that? And I'm like, yeah, you know. So I think eventually they will.
I'm not opposed to it. You know, I always want to like be able to try to have that boundary though, because it's hard to like have your family work for you.
Yeah.
It's only a matter of time before money becomes a problem. And, you know, and then maybe it's not money, you know, but it's like, it's a entitlement, you know, or whatever. And so it seems to me, in my experience in the past, I mean, AJ only worked for us for a short time. And so I'm not saying this about her.
No. Yeah.
But what I'm saying is my experience with people in the past is it's never been beneficial to bring friends and family and involve them with money.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
And it's like, if you want to keep them friends and family, you know, don't involve money.
But if they were to come to us, like when we were retiring and they're like, hey, I want to take this over, I think we would definitely be open to it.
Yeah, 100%. And you know, even now to a certain extent, you know, it's like our older kids are getting more mature, getting more responsible. And so it's, if they were to come to us and you know, want to be involved in some way, you know, I think we would take it more serious, you know, than we ever really did before.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, and I this makes me think of my dad's business. He was a contractor building just single family homes.
Yeah.
And we ended up with a lot of family in the business.
Mm-hmm.
And it was amazing. Like we all look back on that time now, and like it was kind of, you know, late 90s through probably basically till 08, right, when the recession happened.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of the things that helped with that a lot is that we like found our space within the company that where we could both like use our skill set, and we weren't like feeling like we were forced to just be there,
right,
just to be
doing
like a part of the company. And so like, because like I was on the sales side, selling the homes, and then I had a couple brothers that were more like on the contractor side working with my dad, and even those two, as kind of the years went by, like found kind of different spots within the company to help. And then had like my sister, who essentially was like the office manager, and then another sister who was like the broker, right? So it just worked out because people just found spots. And then I had other siblings that weren't a part of it at all, right? So it was nice because to your guys' point, like there wasn't any force in like saying you need to come work for the company.
100%.
Right.
And like, you know, if Camden's thriving at what he's doing right now, you know, I was never a blue collar minded guy, you know.
Yep.
My dad that raised me, you know, he was a carpenter, blue collar guy, but I never really learned anything. And when I was on the job site with him, all I could think about is how I was never going to do this when I was older. You know? And so, but Camden, you know, like I said, he's thriving at what he's doing and he's good at it, you know. And so, you know, as far as like me wanting to get him to come work for me, you know, he would have to like have that desire.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
But I think what you said, Danny, is very applicable to us working together, because like there's times where like we had to designate our own roles and our own lanes, and we know not to step in each other's lanes or else it gets a little hairy.
Yes, we've gotten good at kind of staying out of each other's lanes.
Yeah. Well, talk about too, like the genesis. Like, I'd love to. I don't think I've ever heard your story of like how you even started. I mean, it makes sense now since you were, already an esthetician. You were doing micro needling. But I'm curious, like, even as you guys came together and were dating, and like at what point, like, did you start it, or you guys kind of came together? Even
No.
So yeah, I'll be happy to tell a story. And if I miss anything or misremember something, please tell me.
Well, so like when we started dating, I was
She
traveling.
was traveling doing the micro needling thing. I went on a couple of her trips with her. Honestly, like, I had no idea how much money was in the beauty industry. It never even crossed my mind. And all of a sudden, I'm looking at my girlfriend, and she's over here making tons of money, right? And I'm going, oh my gosh, right? And at the time, I was still trying to go do the alarm thing every, for a month here or a month there, and I could stack 5 or 10 grand and then be good for a little while.
Yeah, and I remember I went on a trip with him because we kind of went on each other's. Like, I was like, "Will you come with me?" And like, there's certain things you can help me with. Like, in courses we had to have massage tables, so I'm like, help me set up for the rest of the day, and then I went with him on the sales
so
blitz.
good at it. I could just drive around and kind of pick the houses to knock.
But I remember being with him, and I'm like, is this a career?
Yeah.
Like, I'm bored.
100%. She like there's a couple times where she just rode around in the car with me, and she just sat there, and I can only imagine what went through her head.
Yeah, like I remember you could make good money quickly, but I'm just like, this is not a career, and where were we? Like,
We were in Memphis.
Memphis, Tennessee, and I was like, where am
We
I?
lived on the good side.
So anyways, yeah.
Anyway, so we were back, and we were living in Ivins at the time, and the distributor for Everlasting Brows
And Ilibana.
and Ellie Bana basically came to us and asked us if we wanted to be a sub-distributor for them.
And I had kind of put some like things in Austin's head, like, hey, like, because when I chose to go and teach, I was also a distributor at the time, but I couldn't do both. And at the time, being a trainer and going in travel was a lot more lucrative than being a distributor. Like, it was just ground level. So when Austin and I got together and got established, and like we were a couple, and I don't think we were married at the time yet, but I kept
Like when we got our first official place together.
Yeah,
Like,
I
you had the townhouse before you.
Yeah.
Each other.
But I kept like putting kind of like, hey, like, this could be a really great opportunity. And he's like, oh, beauty industry, whatever.
Yeah, I was very short-sighted at the time, still very in my
Yeah.
yeah.
So I was like, let's just go to dinner. Like, let's just like, they can show you, like, it kind of felt a little MLM-y, but it wasn't. Like, I'm like, just like,
She talked me into going to the dinner.
yeah.
I was going to ask, like, was their model, you mentioned distributor, was it very much like host house parties or
No,
go to events? Or,
it was strictly just, you have a website, you buy product from us, you're an esthetician, so you can do the trainings all like wherever you want.
Yeah.
But like, what you do with it is what you do with it.
Yeah, it was very just kind of I don't really remember a lot of rules outside of you have to pay in full for all the product.
And that was always something I always felt like there was such a need of in the industry. And at the time I was like so local minded. Like I was like, oh, like locals need a place to come and get their beauty supplies.
I was going around to like some local spots and places and talking to them.
But then after that, like my mind kind of widened, and I was like, wait a second, like this when like shipping was really, it was when e-commerce was barely born.
Yeah,
Like,
when was this?
Yeah, this is 2017.
2017, 2018, yeah. So e-commerce, like we were going to like a local post office to ship off our orders, and
Literally, like I remember when we started doing okay, we had like 60 something orders, that we packaged in our kitchen.
ourselves
And then we drove it to
to the Ivins post office.
And most of these orders, were they probably to like artists and estheticians,
So
right?
they were all so where our timing was really good, I think, was Sarah. We were in Chicago. Sarah was really, really pregnant.
Yeah. It was like our last trip.
It's like our last trip before she wasn't going to work for a little while. We had launched our website. It was very elementary at the time, you know. I look back on it now, and I think a 12-year-old probably should have built
It was bad.
What was your first website?
lashliftstore.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, if you look at it now, it looks much better.
I think it was like built on Squarespace
Yeah, and that's like all
or like Wix or
that was
something.
like all the instruction I really got was like, hey, if you want to build a website, go to squarespace.com.
Yeah.
And so I did. So, but what I did was I was very, through Sarah, you know, I was able to kind of see what some of the other people were doing around me, right? And then when we were in Chicago, while she was doing the training, I figured out like Google Ads.
Truly.
Like I YouTube videoed it, taught myself Google Ads like for like the whole week. And I can remember we were like cleaning up the show, the training, and like all of a sudden Sarah's phone was just dinging.
It was like order after order. And I kind of looked at him and I was like, what did you do?
What's happening right now?
Because I
didn't tell her what I was doing.
You're like, I cut the price in half.
Dude, in my head, like I didn't even know what it was going to
and he's like, this is going to cost money and
Right.
she's
And
going
I
to be.
started very low. I started with like $25 a day, I think.
Nice.
Yeah.
In Google Ads. But it was also back when keywords and stuff were very inexpensive.
Yep.
You know,
And Google Ads was too. Yeah.
especially the keywords that we needed, you know, and the key terms. And so, so I figured that out. And then we gradually went from that to, you know, I think at one point, you know, we were spending what, $80,000 a month
Google Ads.
on Google Ads, you know? And so we also pulled that back, you know, and gotten very much better at our spend, you know, but at the same time, like the ROI on that was really, really good, you know, and we built it from, you know, $25.
Yeah. So he always was the sales side of everything and he did the website. So I was like, hey, like I can do the trainings right now up until I can't because I was pregnant with our first daughter. And I was like, if someone has a question on how to use the product, like I can do that. Like, but he also got really good at answering those questions too.
Yeah, so
It was like, wow.
In the beginning, we didn't have an office or anything. We started everything out of our kitchens, right? And in the beginning, what I would do, if somebody called and like had a product question or this, you know, a question that I didn't have the answer to, which was mostly product questions, I would hand the phone to Sarah. I would say, oh, let me give you to our head of education or whatever, you know, whatever. And I'd hand it to Sarah. And then I would sit and listen to how Sarah answered it.
Yep.
And, you know, it was the same way that I learned anything in sales, you know.
Yep.
I like learned, you know, and then I learned how to repeat it, and then I learned how to make it my own. And I just did the same thing with the way Sarah talked and about products and what they did and how they worked and what she loved about them and what she didn't like about them, you know. And gradually, you know, it got to the point where I could answer just about anything, you know.
Yeah.
You and I are so similar, and my story with sales tax
Really?
is
I'm interested to
so
hear it.
similar because,
Tell me.
you know, 10 years ago, I had no idea this world of sales tax existed.
Yeah.
For
Just
sure.
similar to you guys, right? Like, you just don't know how complex and intricate it is
You know,
until you're in it, either, you know, in a sales tax firm like I am, obviously, or more common is when you're in a business
Yeah.
and you learn about it. Because before that, it's, even when I had a business before, it was just in Utah, so it was
All you had to
simple.
worry about is
It
Utah.
was simple, but anyways, the short of it is I joined the firm and just sat through one consultation call after another.
yeah.
And so it was just like hearing it over and over again and different stories, different companies, different dynamics of like what they sell, how they sell it. And so it was
Yeah.
similar how I learned to
Yeah,
work.
and, you know, and then at a certain point, you know, like we grew it to where we got to move out of our house, you know, and even at that time, like I think we both were like, well, we could still do this from our house.
Yeah. We're like, why do we want to leave?
You know?
Yeah.
We legit could have, because at the time it was just me and her, And then we had a nanny / she helped us kind of ship packages in the morning.
That's cool. Were you still in Chicago at that point then?
Oh, no.
No, that was just a trip.
That
Yeah.
was just
I got
But
it.
that was
Okay.
that was the trip where he started the Google ads, and I
That
was
was
like,
the-
what did you
that
do?
was the trip where I guess Heavenly Father was like, all right, dude, I'll throw you a bone. Yeah, like you're about to have a kid.
Yeah.
She's not going to be making as much money as, like I don't want to go back to selling alarms.
Yeah, Austin always. This is
But honestly, it was one of the things that I struggled with working for somebody else was I always in my head, and this is an ego thing, is felt like I could do it better than they could, right? And so I didn't keep a job very long, like even when I was in alarms, I stayed in alarms for a long time, but I would come back and kind of sell myself to the highest bidder, and sometimes I would burn bridges doing that type of stuff, and I wish I wouldn't have. And so,
Yeah, but like that was one thing where, I was pregnant. I couldn't travel and train anymore.
yeah,
And
all our ships were burned.
that's Austin's
I use
favorite
that.
saying right there.
I use that saying,
We didn't have anything else. Like it
that?
was either this or
who's that conquistador? Cortez, I think, that conquered the Aztecs or whatever. There's an old story, and there's like 300 Aztecs or 300 Spanish against like 10,000 Mayan or Aztecs. I'm far from a history buff. I don't know. One of the two. And anyways, in that story, all his men wanted to turn around, go back to Spain. They're like, screw this, we're not doing this. Look how many of them there are, right? And so Cortez basically lit all their ships on fire and said, win or die, we're not going home.
Yep.
And what did they do? They won. You know what I'm saying? Like he didn't give them an option, you know? And so I'll never forget this. Sarah looked at me. This was a life-changing moment. Like literally, like I can't remember. She was like really anxious and she was really pregnant and she looked me dead in the eye. And I can't remember if you were crying or not. You might have
I
been.
don't remember.
And she looks me dead in the eye and she goes, "Are you going to be able to take care of us?"
Not that I doubted that, but it was like the summer sales thing, like required like him leaving, and I'm like, I didn't really view it as a career. I was like, this is like,
That was a tough question because initially I wanted to respond in the way that like most men would respond. What are you talking about?
Are you kidding me?
You kidding me right now? You're
Crushing my manhood?
100%.
Yeah.
That's how I wanted to respond initially. But when I took a moment to think about it, she was asking a valid question.
Yeah.
And as I've grown up into the man that I think I've become, I think we're here for two reasons. I think we're here to provide and protect. That's it.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And once I realized that, I don't know, I kind of lost my train of
the
thought.
website kicked off and
Yeah, once I realized that, what happened is I burned my ships. It's
Yeah.
like it was one of those things where it's like I had to make it work. I wasn't not going to make it work, so I started throwing everything I could against the wall. I don't know if I could swear in here, but
yeah.
Yeah. It's a safe space.
I started
We can
throwing
bleep it
shit
out.
against the wall. Seeing what stuck. It's what I did day and night. Literally, as we were going to bed, like I was like on our Facebook page,
When I was in labor, he was on the floor on his computer.
rebuilding our website.
Yeah.
Like,
So cool.
and then I also launched another website in between, like simply to compare Google ads to one another. Like,
What works and what doesn't.
yeah, and it turned into a massive website that was doing 100, 200,000 a month.
Yeah.
That we ended up, there was an Elibana when we were an Elibana distributor. And so when we switched to Beautiful Brows and Lashes, anyways, it went away.
Yeah.
It's been an evolution though.
Yeah, it's been a great
From now on, my story of the conquistadors and
Dude,
burning boats is about you guys.
Well, it's
I've told that story to a few people that have like tried to come sub-distribute, and they always have a backup plan.
or they're like even in like the aesthetics world, right? Like they're still trying to build their clientele, but then they want to build this on the side. And it's harder said than done, like to just be like, okay, well, that's all we got, so it's got to work.
You can't just kind of do it, I think, and want to grow and be successful. You can just kind of do it, and you'll just kind of get your kind of results.
Yeah.
And that's okay if that's all you want, I mean, different strokes for different folks, But if you actually want to build a distribution and a brand, it takes time, it takes effort, it takes reinvestment after reinvestment after. I think for a lot of years, Sarah lived on it. Me and Sarah lived on a pretty strict 80-20 rule. We reinvested about 80% of what we made back into our business. Into more product, into our Google ads, into marketing stuff, into whatever we were doing, content creation, all that stuff, making our website better. I think we invested heavily in our website and all that, and so it was built over time.
Well, and even through COVID, we didn't feel a lot of what other people felt in COVID because we were
very blessed through COVID.
We had such loyal customers. There was a month of silence, but it's everyone came right back.
Right back. Yeah, and we just love our customers, and I think that's one of the things that separated Sarah and I from most people that have tried this or do this is, and I don't want to say it separates us from anybody that does this right now because they might care as much as I do, but I think we care about our customers more than most. I think if any of our customers called right now and needed product to be driven across town for a client because they had an emergency or something, one of our girls would probably volunteer to do it, or I would do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's we care about our customers that much, and I think it's been like that since day one. And so and I think it'll remain like that.
Yeah.
There's something special about the commitment, right? You talk about your commitment to kind of the switch flipping in a sense of when that question was presented to you, can you take care of us? And it's okay, that to me, part of that was commitment, right? To this commitment to your family, commitment to the business. And then something sticks out to me that you guys mentioned too, that also I think ties into what I mentioned, I think of why my family business was successful. And there's a specialization.
Yeah.
Even though you quote unquote, wear a lot of hats in a business as a business owner and just as a decision maker in a business, you still, as you said, stay in your lane, right? Which is to me another way of describing specializing and being super focused on, a certain area of the business.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think being humble enough to recognize what you're good at too and what you're not good at.
Yeah.
I think is important, right? And then to get a group of people that are all like-minded after the same mission, that all have that kind of mindset. I think we've been very blessed to attract those people over time.
Yeah. But I think the question always comes to us how do you work together? And I think it's the staying in the lanes. But I personally feel it's a very unique opportunity because we're working towards the same goal, right? He's not going off to his job and I'm not going off to my job, and we're both and then we'll revisit the conversation later tonight. It's hey, what did we do in our business together? It was
in and out of the house, we'd operate together.
Yeah. So.
And honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. It also it's for a long time early in our relationship, I think it helped me keep my compass pointing north, kept me on the right track to the point to where now my compass just points north. You know what I'm saying? I don't need anyone to guide me anymore. I know where I'm going. You know what I'm saying? And so, we've been very blessed.
Yeah. I'm sure there's endless life lessons that you could talk about. Just
yeah.
Well, you've already heard me talk this long. I could go off on it every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Something.
In fact,
I'm curious. One of the things that just came up because we talked about sales tax and how you as business owners come to learn about it, like it or not, you have to. I'm curious, if there's a point that sticks out to you guys when it was holy crap, what is the sales tax thing that we have to deal with?
I think Sarah probably remembers those kind of traumas more than I do.
Traumas. Well, there's always been every year there's something new. Like this year it was tariffs, and I think has it been 2 years now that we got our. But it's like, I feel like there was a certain point where the state started really caring about sales tax, and our customers started really caring about, like, well, why are you collecting it? And I'm like, well, because I have to pay it, And like, I remember a bunch of like
dialed in like state to state, which percentage they were.
And I just remember, again, like, while we're business owners, we are not masters of everything. There's like certain things.
And you don't want to be.
No.
Right? Doesn't
And
make sense.
I was very in over my head on that whole thing. Like, and so it was our accountants initially where they were like, hey, like, you either need to collect it or not collect it. Like, but like, we don't really know because like, we don't really do sales tax.
HCG advisors, they were just kind of like, they were like, I don't know if I should say that.
No, you should, because they're super sharp, right?
Yeah.
They're really good at what they do.
I love David. In fact, I've known David since we were in middle school.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
We played football together growing up.
They talk about it every time we meet.
Yeah, like I love those two.
Those are the glory days.
I got nothing bad to say, but when it came to sales tax at that time, like I think we were all kind of trying to figure.
Yeah, we were all like, what do we do?
And so I was just kind of waiting for Mason to tell me what to do, and then when Mason kind of figured it out, I think you can take it from there.
Yeah, we
downloaded that.
We signed up with another company, and
The software
Mason
company.
recommended,
Yeah. Which is a good recommendation for certain pieces, right? The software piece itself and like automating and connecting to your Shopify is the true value there.
But it wasn't, and like where, in our work, it's a little bit complex because we have retail products, right? And those customers have an exemption where they charge the sales tax. We don't charge the sales tax to them. And there were just so many questions, and I was like, I am in over my head here. So that's when sales tax entered the chat, when I was like, oh, okay. Here's another component of business that I do not know about, but I need to learn about.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and you guys ended up in a situation, when we first started digging in, it's probably been a couple of years now.
Yeah.
Time flies. Maybe it's already been 3 years, but once you start asking the questions, and then you have someone like HGG, right, asking those questions with you, and you're collaborating, and then you find this tool, and it feels like a provider, right, of sales tax, you almost end up in a worse spot.
Yeah.
Because you start registering in states, or you have them register, them again being this provider, but they don't really provide the service itself of like connecting with you. And I remember seeing that with your guys' account in particular, of like, oh, a registration was submitted by them, but they don't have the team to support you and say, okay, now when you get this letter back from the state with a PIN number, you need to make sure you give it to us.
Yeah.
And they don't have that like actual support around it. And then I remember one of the worst situations you guys were in is that the connector to Shopify broke.
Yes.
So, and again, you didn't have someone there at that company saying, hey, the connector's not working anymore. Either we'll turn it back on, or, at minimum, they should have been bugging you until it was actually turned on. And as those returns were being filed, there's no one, again, that has enough, awareness of that and the support level to say, look, you went from filing tax on your returns to now they're all just $0.
Yep.
And there was no one that was like sounding the alarm and say, hey, Sarah, hey, Austin, like, what's up with this?
Well, thinking back, I saw a few of those, and I think that there was an alarm in the back of my head that I just ignored.
Yeah.
Because we just didn't know.
Well, because they're more just automated emails, too, right? Like, no one's calling you. Like,
well, until like the state of Florida called me and said I owed like this X amount, where I was like, what? And it's
state of who?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, ma'am. This is Georgia.
Yeah.
The country.
Or even like being able to like, even the process of like registering in a state, I was like, what? So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been an interesting journey with that, and then, just, trying to keep that upward climb too, that momentum. I think.
Yeah, because that's the big question, like, for you guys, like, what does the future look like?
I think the future's bright. We got a lot of cool products out right now, coming in with a lot of products. We just did the Dallas show. It was amazing. We saw thousands of people.
That one was insane. We definitely underestimated that.
Yeah, I mean, we'll be coming back to Dallas for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And these are trade shows, so it's, we've had so many ebbs and flows in our business where we were doing so well on Google Ads, and these trade shows take a lot of time and energy and money, and so we were like, well, why don't we reinvest that into Google
It wasn't
Ads?
just Google Ads.
No, it was, yeah.
So,
It was,
yeah, I think what you're saying is right. I think what she's saying is we invested a ton of money in shows.
Like for a couple of years.
initially, at the very beginning.
And some of it, we learned along the way, we probably paid too much for this, or we didn't need to do this, or this, that, and the other. And then COVID happened, right? And then,
There were no shows.
there were no shows.
And then we
then-
did some shows after because people were so excited to
Right. And then we did a
talk to a human.
Right. And then I think we just asked ourselves if we were getting out of the show what we were hoping to get, or what we could get investing into marketing, right? Like if we made more content for social media or education, or upped our Google Ads, in this area, to go after first-time customers or something like that, whatever. If we reinvested in those areas rather than going to these shows, would we see a bigger return?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so I think we tried to do that for a couple of years,
But then AI came.
and then AI came, and but one of the things that I've really learned, especially in the beauty industry, and it's important if you want to stay relevant, and that's why these shows are important, is you always have new estheticians, you always have new cosmetologists, you always have new people entering the beauty space, or people that want to try a new brand or whatever it is, right? It's like if you don't remain in front of them in some way, whether it's on social media, whether it's at a show, or whether it's sending them a text message with content, or the free guides that Sarah does on our website, and we'll send off those type of things. If you're not consistently staying in front of your customers and or beauty professionals, eventually you're just going to fade out.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how many Google ads you run, doesn't matter how it's like you got to do those shows and stuff to stay relevant. So
Yeah. So now it's all of it. It's all the digital marketing and
It's
AI
everything.
and shows. And
Each part of the business has its own.
well, how has AI affected you?
well, it's affected us a lot in the sense of just making life better for us.
Okay.
Right? Like it's easier to access information, and we're in the middle of building like a back end platform where, because when you're filing as many returns as we are,
Yeah.
the amount of data that we're dealing with, the treasury, associated with all the funds, right, that we're taken from clients, remitting to the states, so it's helping us build that out for sure, and that'll become customer facing very soon too, of like having more of like a dashboard and a platform
Yeah.
for our customers to just see some of the information
Yeah.
if they want to see it, which some of them do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think we're going to implement AI in every possible way we can. But outside of, them coming out with like a really awesome robot, like our girls, like putting the beauty pass in a package, I don't think is going anywhere. So
Yeah. But still, like in our industry, like I feel like people went to EAI to ask more questions than they did like to the brands, which is like us. So there was definitely we felt it a little bit. I don't feel like it's the same anymore. Like I feel like now people treasure more like hands-on education where they're like, okay, don't actually want to talk to a bot.
Yeah.
yeah, that's true too. I think, I think there's something to that. I think and people are
Kind of getting
But
pushed
in-
away from
the whole technology
thing,
But
It's
initially, like there was a lot of people like asking, well, ChatGPT told me this, and I'm like, no, like, so we felt it in a little bit of a different way, but
Yeah. But yeah, no, I definitely think that it's like trending in the opposite direction. People would rather
Yeah.
talk to somebody.
Yeah, it's making, I like, the two together are more valuable than ever, of like, yes, AI can help eliminate or some of the mundane, or at least like make you more efficient and, spend less time on some of the stuff that you don't want to. And then
Yeah.
this, right, even this, like hanging out with people and actually having human interactions is more valuable than ever.
Very.
100%. And I think I utilize AI personally, both business and personally, in a very similar way, in the sense where, I utilize it for very specific things, just because it makes me more efficient, it makes me quicker. But things that are more meaningful, I try not to involve AI, to a certain point. And so,
with business,
it can certainly help me cook a fillet.
There you go. Exactly. It can help you cook. Even on the business side too, with marketing, I see opportunity to like put more content out there. For example, like YouTube Shorts.
Yeah.
And YouTube, like the more you put information out there, the more you're going to be seen when someone does use Gemini to search for, beauty content or tips or whatever. And it's like now, you guys could show up.
Well, AI is also
that's my theory, at least.
Yeah, AI has also been useful for me on the business front in the sense where it's gotten me better.
Yep.
It's gotten the business, better. As far as being able to like formulate an email and access information, that sort of thing, or just ask it a simple question. It's just made me better.
Yeah.
Quicker too.
Quicker.
Yeah.
Yeah, you use it every day. I mean, it's cool for even, where we were talking with like baseball, right? That's obviously a big part of our conversations and our lives and friendship. And it's like even these kids that are, in summertime and the off season, and it's like you could go beyond even just asking it to create a workout plan and a diet. It's like you could actually build an app to like track stuff.
Yeah. It's amazing what these kids have access to.
Yeah.
And and they have access to so much, and this makes me old. I don't know, Danny, but they have access to so much. I almost don't like. It's almost too much for me. I don't know what's like. I want to keep it old school.
Yeah. That doesn't make you old. Your time here on Earth makes you old.
Okay.
And me.
I can accept that. But it's interesting because I see certain benefits. Maybe this is giving me, coming in a little bit late into baseball after the analytics thing. After I was done with it for a little while. But when I came back into it, the analytics side of baseball was like all new.
Yeah.
The tracking.
Or it was new to me. Sorry, I should say. It wasn't new to anyone else. Everyone else wanted to know their exit velo and, all that stuff. Having a pocket radar, I was like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I remember I went up and bought a book, and like the first game I coached in like AA, I'm like ready to take a book. And my assistant coach shows me Game Changer,
I remember when you went like to one of the first games and this kid had a sliding mitt. You're like, what is that?
Yeah, what is that oven? And I remember I made my travel ball team wear oven mitts.
We gave him an oven mitt for Christmas.
Nice.
So they all wore oven mitts instead of actual oven mitts. We got
It's just funny.
I made them wear actual oven mitts.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Anyways.
I see a lot of what we just talked about too, of like, yes, the benefits of the technology and everything, and then how much more valuable than ever like the analog and the human element is. And I see that. I thought of this just the other day actually when Benson went to the field with some of the other boys, or I think 4 of them. They went, grabbed the key and went to the high school, and they're working out, and I just stopped by to like say hi because I knew they were there, and I had the thought of like, this is so cool that they're here just hanging out, being homies, swinging away, like goofing off, and like that is
it's good for the soul.
Exactly. and it keeps it fun.
Yeah.
Right? Like 100%. Instead of having even me there, as chill as I could be, and like saying, hey, try this and try this. It's like, no, you guys just go swing away and have some fun out on the baseball field.
Yeah. I actually remember, some of my best hitting sessions were there was no coach anywhere near. Like it was just us in the cage, and and it was fun, man. It was good for those boys.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are awesome.
Thanks, Sandy. So are you.
I can't remember. I can't decide if we talked more about baseball or business.
I haggle Danny all the time for the sales tax we have to pay, but I do appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate not being in trouble having to pay more.
Yes.
I remember the first time, actually, I'm sure you remember this, if you made a joke, like, I think you sent a message.
Yes.
You're like, I hate you so much right now, or something like that. You ruined my day, and it's like, it's before I knew you, and I was like, oh my gosh.
You're like, hey, she
I was like, Danny, I'm totally kidding, I promise.
And then I liked you even more at that point, because I'm like, yes, this is what it's all
Like,
about.
rip the Band-Aid off, it's fine, I'll get over it. But
That's why we work so well together, because you guys have, like, we say this all the time here, like, as a company, like, we don't take ourselves too seriously, but we take sales tax super serious.
Yeah.
Right? Like, getting it right, getting it done, but at the same time, just, again, the human element of just
for sure.
being cool.
Yeah, 100%. I think we try to do the same thing over at Beautiful Brows and Lashes, and
Well, it's lunchtime. We should probably shut this baby down. Thanks for hanging out with us on the Sales Tax People podcast. If you want to talk about sales tax, or maybe you have an experience that goes along with something we talked about today, or maybe you just want to hear about how Paul's day is going, make sure you send us an email to podcast@sales.tax, or you can text us at 949-355-5098. See y'all again soon.